right, get ready for some seriously creepy stories.
Yeah.
The kind that make you check your locks twice and maybe sleep with the lights on for a bit. We're talking freaky forest encounters.
Oh, yeah, those moments when nature gets a little bit, well, creepy.
Yeah, unsettling, maybe even terrifying.
It's amazing how those stories really get to you, you know? Like tap into something primal,
For sure.
almost like that fear of the unknown that's been with us forever.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're going into an article from Thought Catalog. It's called Freaks in the Woods, 17 True Stories of Scary Encounters Deep in the Forest.
Oh, I've seen that one.
And what makes these stories even creepier is that they're all first-hand accounts.
Oh.
These aren't just like campfire tales,
Yeah.
This is real people sharing their own experiences.
Yeah, that definitely adds a whole other layer to it.
It really does.
Like, it's one thing to hear a scary story, but it's another when you know somebody actually went through it.
Right. It makes you realize that this stuff could happen to anyone. And we've got such a mix here. Unexplained stuff, run-ins with creepy people.
Right.
Some are just weird, some are unsettling, and some, well, they get kind of dangerous.
Oh, I love those ones.
We're going to break it down by theme, starting with those moments that leave you scratching your head. Like, what the heck just happened?
The unexplained.
Yeah.
The things that just defy logic.
Right.
Those are the stories that really stick with you.
Totally. They make you question what you think you know about the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine this. You're staying at this remote cabin in Idaho,
Okay.
miles from any road, middle of the night, just drifting off to sleep, and suddenly, knock, knock, knock on the door.
Ooh, in the middle of the night.
Yeah, just like that.
I would freak out.
And they wait until daylight to go check,
Uh-huh.
and there's nothing. No footprint.
Oh, wow.
No explanation of who or what could have made that sound.
That's terrifying.
Right. Classic ghost story setup.
Yeah, it plays on all our fears of what we can't see.
Exactly. The things that go bump in the night.
Yeah.
Then there's this one. This one's from El Paso, Texas.
Okay.
A group of friends are out four-wheeling in the desert at night when they run into this guy who asks if he can join them.
Oh, in the desert at night?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
They agree, but as they're driving along, the guy just vanishes.
What?
Like, poof, gone.
No way.
They searched for hours, but couldn't find him or his bike.
Like he just disappeared.
Yeah, and this was years ago, so it's not like they could track him or anything.
Oh, wow.
It's just unexplained, and that's what makes it so creepy.
Like a glitch in the Matrix or something.
Exactly.
Makes you think about what's really out there.
Right.
Like, what if we don't see everything?
Oh, okay, so sometimes it's the lack of an explanation that's the scariest part. But what about when you come face to face with something creepy?
Oh, yeah.
Those are the moments where your heart starts racing, right?
Oh.
And the fight or flight kicks in.
You either face it or run.
Like this one from North Dakota. This guy's hiking at night and runs into another guy wearing a full-face ski mask.
Oh, no.
Just standing there in the woods.
At night.
Yeah, not saying a word.
Ooh, that's scary.
He said he just froze for a second. His brain couldn't even process it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And then this little voice in his head was like, R-O-N. He did.
I would have too.
Smart move.
Sometimes it's best to just get out of there.
And it wasn't just the mask. It was a whole situation. Middle of the woods, dead of winter, 3 in the morning.
That's like a horror movie.
Right. Like something's about to happen.
It makes you think about all those creatures lurking in the shadows.
Okay, but then there are those encounters that are more, well, just plain weird.
Oh, yeah, I love those.
Like, have you ever had that feeling of, did that really happen? Or was I imagining things?
All the time.
Because this next story totally give me those vibes.
Okay, let's hear it.
So these friends are driving down this deserted dirt road
Mm-hmm.
looking for a hiking trail. And they see this man standing by the side of the road, covered in dirt, holding a shovel.
Oh, covered in dirt.
Yeah, head to toe.
That's weird.
Just staring at them.
Oh, that's creepy.
And then nothing. He just stood there.
He didn't say anything?
Nope.
That's so unsettling.
They drove off, and the whole thing left them feeling super uneasy, but they couldn't even be sure if it really happened.
Yeah, you start questioning yourself.
Right. Like, was it real or not?
The uncertainty is what gets you.
Okay, and then you have those encounters that are just awkward.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Like this one where this guy's hiking along a river,
Mm-hmm.
and he realizes this older dude in a Hawaiian shirt is following him.
That's strange. In a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the hiker gets to this steep bank, turns around, and the guy stops him and asks, hey, looking for a good time?
Oh, my God.
Talk about a mood killer, right?
so
He
awkward.
just said nope and got out of there as fast as he could.
I don't blame him.
But then there's this one that's awkward and kind of dangerous. This guy's training a crew to map livable structures for the census.
Okay.
And they come across a shack in the backwoods of Tennessee with a moonshine still cooking and a shotgun leaning against a tree.
Whoa.
Yeah, his trainee was all excited, but he's like,
Yeah.
no, not exciting at all when you're wearing a government badge.
Yeah, that's a hard pass.
And the person making that moonshine might have a bit of a temper.
Yeah, I can see that.
It's a good reminder to be aware of your surroundings,
Totally.
even in places that seem peaceful.
For sure.
So we've had unexplained phenomena, creepy individuals, and awkward encounters. But what happens when things get really dangerous? That's what we're going to get into next. And trust me, some of these stories will make your heart race.
I can't wait.
All right, so we're getting into some seriously intense stories now.
Okay.
The kind where things get real, where the fear kicks in and you realize the woods could be a dangerous place.
Yeah, it's important to be prepared when you're out there.
Absolutely, both mentally and physically.
For sure.
Okay, first up, 3 friends are camping in this remote part of Northern California.
Hooray.
It's the middle of the night, they're trying to sleep, and they hear screaming in the distance.
Okay.
Then a single gunshot, and then silence.
That's terrifying, the silence.
Right.
Like waiting for what happens next.
They're miles from any help in an area known for, well, let's say, rough characters and not a lot of law enforcement presence.
Yeah.
They just had to lay there in their tent, hoping whatever happened wouldn't come their way.
I bet they didn't get much sleep that night.
Talk about a sleepless night, right? It really shows how vulnerable you are in those situations.
Totally. You're at the mercy of your surroundings.
Then there's this guy, he's backpacking in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And he has not 1, but 2 unsettling encounters with this dude at a cabin.
Oh, 2.
Yeah, the first time the guy's clearly drunk and tells him to keep moving. But the second time, the hiker has his wife and her friend with him, and things get a little weird and scary.
Having women with him definitely changes things.
It does, right?
It adds a different level of threat.
Right. This time, the cabin guy gets super pushy, trying to get them to stay for dinner. Even though it's clear they don't want to.
Yeah.
They decline. But later that night, he shows up at their campsite.
No way.
Drunk, going through their stuff.
Oh, my God.
The hiker scares him off with an air horn.
That's a good idea.
But they were so freaked out, they packed up and hiked out in the middle of the night.
Wow. I don't blame them.
Can you imagine?
It shows how quickly things can escalate.
Yeah, especially with alcohol involved.
And it's a good reminder to always trust your gut.
Okay, this next one's like an action movie.
Okay, hit me.
This guy is scouting for deer on his wife's family ranch when he comes across 2 strangers with rifles poaching on their land.
Oh, wow.
It's all about territory, right?
It is. Defending what's yours.
And what happens when those boundaries are crossed?
Yeah.
He tells them to leave, but as he's walking away, they fire shots at him.
What?
He dives for cover, returns fire,
Wow.
hits one of them in the leg, and they take off.
That's insane.
This fight or flight taken to the extreme, right?
Absolutely. Sometimes you have to defend yourself.
Hey, get this. The poacher he shot ended up in the ER, got arrested, and went to prison.
Wow. So there are consequences.
Actions have consequences, even in the middle of nowhere.
That's a good reminder.
Okay, how about a story with a little dark humor?
Okay. I like those.
This woman is collecting apples near an abandoned property.
Okay.
When this guy comes creeping towards her through the bushes, hands spread out like he's humping.
Oh, that's creepy.
Turns out he thought she was a deer.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Right. It's that unexpected appearance that triggers that fear response.
Yeah, and the misinterpretation of intent.
Totally.
Yeah.
Which luckily was harmless here.
Thankfully.
She screamed, he realized his mistake, and everyone was okay.
That's good.
But imagine if she hadn't screamed, or if he'd reacted differently.
Oh, that's a chilling thought.
It's a good reminder to be aware, even in seemingly innocent situations.
You never know.
Okay, ready for another one?
Hit me.
Imagine you're hitchhiking in Greece.
Okay.
You get dropped off in the middle of nowhere at night
Mm-hmm.
and have to camp out.
Okay.
You're just dozing off when you hear footsteps approaching your tent.
Oh, no, I would freak out.
This guy freaks out, yells that he has a weapon, and whoever it was takes off running.
Wow.
He stayed awake all night, terrified.
And imagine being alone in a strange place.
Right. And it's interesting, there wasn't even a face-to-face encounter. But the threat, even just implied, was enough.
Yeah, it's the fear of the unknown.
Exactly, the anticipation of what might happen.
That can be just as scary.
All right, remember the story about the climber who had her gear stolen from outside her tent?
Oh, yeah.
A year later, they're back at the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
And her friend spots a guy in a ghillie suit watching their campsite.
Whoa, a ghillie suit.
Yeah, full-on camo.
That's crazy.
It really makes you think, was it the same guy who stole her gear?
Right.
Was he planning something worse this time?
That's unsettling.
We'll never know.
Yeah.
But it adds to the creep factor for sure.
It really does, the not knowing.
Then there's this crazy story about these two guys who stumble upon what seems like a lumber theft operation.
What?
They're driving on this remote logging road when a truck pulls up, blocking them in part.
Oh, no.
Two guys, rifles in their laps, just staring at them.
That's terrifying.
Then a whole convoy of vehicles loaded with lumber starts coming over the ridge.
Oh, wow, they were outnumbered.
They had their own guns drawn the whole time, just waiting to see what would happen.
I bet they were holding their breath.
The lumber thieves eventually drove off.
Yeah.
But it's one of those moments where you realize how quickly things can go bad.
Especially in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Yeah.
With no one around to help.
It's like the Wild West out there.
Okay, how about another one with a little dark humor?
All right, let's hear it.
This couple is hiking to a scenic overlook, and they see an older woman sitting there.
Okay.
They start joking, saying maybe it's Norman Bates in disguise, waiting to push them off the cliff.
I love that.
But when they reach the overlook, it's not an old woman at all.
Who's it?
It's a dude in a dress, hair in braids, just staring at them.
What? No way.
They said hello and got out of there.
I don't blame them.
Talk about a surprise ending, right?
Wow. Reality is stranger than
And
fiction.
it makes you wonder, what was his story?
Right. What was he doing out there?
We'll never know.
Some things are better left unexplained.
All right, one more before we wrap things up.
Okay.
This woman and her boyfriend are camping in British Columbia
Okay.
when this guy on a quad keeps driving past their campsite, yelling and acting strangely.
Oh, that's not good.
She ends up calling the police,
Wow.
hatchet and hunting knife at the ready.
She was ready for anything.
Convinced this guy's going to snap.
Yeah.
He eventually leaves,
Thank goodness.
but they never hear back from the police.
Oh.
So they're left wondering, what if he had come back?
Right. It's the not knowing that gets you.
It's a reminder that you can encounter unpredictable people, even in familiar places.
Yeah, you really never know.
Okay, one last story.
Okay.
This one's just, well, you decide.
Okay.
It involves a banjo, a machete, and a group of people on LSD.
Whoa, that's a combination.
Right.
Sounds like something out of a movie.
So this guy's out in the woods playing his banjo in this little hut he found.
Mm-hmm.
He hears people approaching, but ignores them at first.
Okay.
Then this hazy-looking dude walks in and asks, "Are you the architect?"
The architect.
Yeah.
That's a strange question.
Right. And then it gets weirder.
Oh, no.
The dude's friend walks in, holding a machete, and announces, "I'm on LSD."
Oh, wow. That took a turn.
Yeah, the machete definitely adds a new level of concern.
For sure. You never know what's going to happen.
And then more friends show up, they all sit down, and start talking about how euphoric they feel and how much they love his banjo playing. It's like a strange psychedelic party in the middle of the woods.
That's both hilarious and terrifying.
I know, right.
Like, you want to laugh, but you also want to run away.
At one point, his girlfriend calls,
Uh-huh.
and one of the guys yells into the phone, "We're on LSD."
Oh, my God.
I mean, what do you even say to that?
I have no idea.
He eventually managed to get out of there,
Yeah.
but it's definitely a story he won't forget.
It's one of those encounters that you just shake your head and laugh at.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to find out in the woods.
That's for sure.
Wow. Okay, we've covered a lot of ground today, from unexplained phenomena to creepy individuals to downright dangerous situations.
We have.
These stories definitely make you think twice about venturing off the trail.
They do. It's important to be aware of your surroundings.
Absolutely. But it's also important to remember that encounters like these are relatively rare.
True. Most people have a safe and enjoyable time in the woods.
Exactly. It's about finding a balance between being aware of the risks and not letting fear keep you from enjoying nature.
I agree.
What do you say? Should we open it up to our listeners?
Absolutely. We want to hear from you. Have you had any freaky forest encounters?
Yeah, head over to our social media pages and share your stories.
We're dying to know.
It makes you wonder, are these kinds of encounters becoming more common, or were we just more aware of them because of the internet and social media?
That's a great question. Something to think about for sure.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. But remember, Sometimes the scariest thing in the woods is our own imagination.
That's true.
Stay safe out there, and until next time, happy trails.